Come in and Coorie Doon as I tell you some tips and tricks to get started when making your first custom designs. So first thing to know is, what are you making when it comes to custom design? You can make tiles, you can make pro designs, and between the two there's a lot of different options, and generally the process is the same, but there's a few key differences. So with the clothing you have different templates, and each of the templates have their own panels. For example, a dress would have back panel, front panel, and then a panel each for the sleeves. Whereas with your tile designs, it is just the one single canvas that is used across wherever you're going to use it. So whether that's on the ground, whether that's on a piece of fabric, or even just to wear as clothing or face paint. The other difference to remember is that on the templates for clothing, the pixels differ slightly. Some can be smaller, some can be bigger, there can be more, there can be less, so just keep an eye on that. And when you're making custom codes, just know that not all pixels are made the same. Okay, this next one I say with love. Please, please, please learn the user interface for custom designs. It'll make the whole process so much simpler if you know what you're doing with the tools to make your designs. Also, make sure to check out my custom design Twitter thread as I give a bit more of a rundown on there. And I feel like going through each of them individually is probably going to be a bit too much time for this specific video, but let me know in the comments if this is something that you want to see in the future. But for now, do go check that out, and I'll give you a short rundown guide just now as to what they all do. On the screen just now then, I'm going to show you quickly what you can do with all the different tools, and hopefully that will give you a better idea. All the tools as well, I feel like you can kind of put into subsets. So you've got colors, you've got stamps, canvas editors, but the ones you'll use the most are the stamps and the shapes. Make sure to also know the difference between the two different fill tools. You have one fill tool that will just simply fill a small section of one color, and then the other will fill the entire canvas. So the second one is really helpful when you're starting a new code and you just need a blank slate to work with, instead of having to go in with your pencil or stamp and fill it in slowly to get a clean slate. It's such a time saver, it's so much easier, so I highly recommend checking it out. And on the flip side to that, is the mirror mode. It is so helpful when you're doing a design that you want to be symmetrical, whether it's eyebrows, doing a design on a dress. If you want your left and rights to be symmetrical, no matter what, check out mirror mode. It makes things a lot more easy and simple to do. The only downside is that there's not multiple different ways you can have the mirror mode working. That is one thing I would love to see them add, probably in the future games at this point obviously, but it would be really handy. The next thing to note is how colour can play into your designs, because what colours you use will have a huge impact on the different vibes that your design gives off. As mentioned before, there's a part of the UI specifically for colours, and this is split into two different sections. And I didn't realise this until recently, but you can only use a small subset of this until you unlock the custom pro editor from the ATM. So make sure you do that before getting into all this. The first is filled with a bunch of pre-made palettes. These can be a great start to kick you off, but you will probably need to edit them. Although I do often use the grayscale palettes, as it kind of helps to just be able to work out the color scheme from lightest to darkest. And then I change the hues and the vibrancy. The second section is where you do the modifying of each color. You do this with the hue, brightness, saturation. And the main thing to remember with colors is, if you're trying to do a subtle gradient for shadows, highlights, color changes, start by changing the colors one bar at a time, as this will give you the most gradual color progression. If enough people think it would be handy, I'll create a whole video to provide you with a bit more insight on how to make your own color palettes, how to pick the right colors, and even some just general color theory, because there's so much more information I could go on about with this. And color selection still seems to be one of the main areas people get confused about and need help with, so do let me know. The next thing I want to mention, and it's honestly such a lifesaver, so don't discount this one at all, is the copy and paste. With any design you create, you can easily copy and paste them into a new save and make any changes, modifications, whatever else, and it'll keep your original design safe. I often do this for when I'm making paths by starting out to create the centered pieces, so that every additional piece onto that has the same color palette, has the same texture, etc. It makes the process so much simpler. And you can even do it so that you can turn a t-shirt quickly into a sweater, into a dress, and so on. Each time you edit a pro design, it will ask you if you want to change the pro template, and it will reformat the design based on the new template. But just as an FYI, when you do this, you will need to tinker and play around, as it doesn't always line up how you want it to. So have a little bit of a play, but it should work out in the end. And generally, it's a lot easier to move the canvas around a bit than to make the design completely from scratch again. Lastly, I know making your own clothes can be super scary and intimidating, not knowing where to start, so please just check out inspiration. Talk to other custom makers as long as they have time and you know that they might be willing to share their insights, but generally people are nice enough to want to give you a little bit of help, give you a little bit of hints and tips. And it's been something I've loved about Animal Crossing, is seeing how we can all share our ideas, our thoughts, our inspirations. So even if I can do that and I can help inspire somebody, make it feel more possible to do their own codes, then that is my main goal. Like, job done, tick, perfect. So speak to people, look up pixel grids, see how people build them for themselves. Why not even check out your favorite designs and work out how the pixels have been positioned to make specific shapes, or how many colors have they actually used throughout the entire design. It can be a good way to train your brain into realizing how pixels and colors work to make those designs. I really recommend it, and I feel like it kind of helps make the whole process a lot simpler and break it down into those small elements. The last thing for inspiration I would recommend, I check out in pixel art, embroidery, cross stitch. There's so many artworks out there that use a grid based system. So if you're looking for something that you think might be difficult, search it for one of them and I'm sure something will come up. There's so many beautiful designs out there and a lot of them can be easily translated, but they can also just be used as a little bit of an inspiration, and again to see how different shapes and textures work within a grid format. So I hope you find something interesting from this video and you learned something from it too. Let me know down below what other things you need help with when it comes to making your own custom designs. I'll try my darndest to do that in the future. But in the meantime, if you love learning about custom codes, you want to learn more, please do subscribe, hit that notification bell, and join me in future videos and streams. I mean, particularly streams, because I'm constantly always editing, making, doing things with my own custom codes, so you can really see it in real time. I hope to see you there anyway. And remember, if you do need any more additional tips, tricks, advice, whatever else, please do go check out my Twitter thread on this topic. Hopefully there'll be some more information for you there. And if you have any burning questions, definitely check out my Discord, or even send me a tweet and I hopefully can help you either way. But until the next video or stream, stay safe, stay cozy, slanja, bye.